Hello, welcome to the We in Wellness Conversations and Meditations with Dr. K. Hi, Ben. Welcome back.
Hello, Dr. K. It's nice to see you again. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
of course. Um, I know everyone's been waiting, very curious. We talked a lot about the retreat last time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let me ask you this. How have you been since the retreat? Was it a good experience for you?
It was like a life-changing experience for me. Uh, I think not only for the patients, but for myself, because more often than not, when you are helping someone, you end up only helping yourself. And then, like, when you help someone going through a process, then you help yourself going through your own processes. And I think that's pretty much what happened to me, and in a very personal and deep level. Yeah, I'm still integrating a lot of things that I learned from the retreat, and that takes me to my next step, which is going to Gabon in Africa, which is something that I personally mentioned something before, but like I like for the public, it's like I'm going there to do iboga, to know the medicine in its place of power, and so I'm better. I yeah, I know better how to help the patients basically with iboga. So I cannot do that if I don't know the medicine and I don't know the place of power of that medicine. So yeah, it was like a very deep and powerful process for me, and it's still ongoing. But I feel fine integrating. I would say still, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I same, same. I didn't expect to have so much work to do with integration for myself as I'm helping facilitate other people's integration. Um, but each time it's always powerful, meaningful, so much going on. So let me back up and we'll
Yep.
kind of get into the structure of the retreat. I'll just give people a little recap of why we did it. So the theme was awakening intuition, um, because I wanted to connect into people who have different spiritual gifts, ways to use them, and ways to integrate with themselves. Like a lot of what is the next step, I think was coming up with some of my clients. And so those who showed up as patients or participants for the retreat, there were a lot of themes that overlapped, surprisingly, even though they were all very different. Um, but we started with some tour. Um,
Mhm.
in the in Mexico City or around Mexico City. You know, we went to the huge anthropology museum. We went to see some pyramids. We learned a lot about um, ancient pre-Hispanic spiritual practices. And then it was time to go into Tamale. And we had a day where we did an ice bath and kind of got used to the property. We switched the food up, made sure everything was like really clean, really vegan. Um, and then Uh, we kind of did a lot of things in one day. Oh yeah, we had the activating intuition class on the ice bath day,
Mhm.
and then we had Temazcal and bufo and psilocybin mushrooms and that all night, and then we integrated, and then well, we integrated together.
Mhm.
Step one. And then it was time to fly out, and you know we've been keeping the group chat going, making sure that there is support going forward. Um, that's the overview. So yeah, what part, all of it stood out, but what part do you want to speak to first or about most?
I think for me, like the whole structure of the retreat was about letting the participants know what we are all about here in the Mesoamerican culture. regarding spirituality, and what did they think about these things, because ultimately if we don't understand where they came from or what they did or the reasons why they did that, it is not as powerful. It will work in some way, but it is not as powerful as when we really understand all the logic behind it. So for me, like, that was a huge highlight, like showing them around and like going to the museum, explaining what are we actually seeing, because it's a shame, but in that museum there are not a lot of explanations. Like if you look at the thing, like the explanation is like this long and it's in Spanish. So uh, if you don't know any Spanish or you don't have any context, you don't understand most of it. So yeah, I think that was really insightful. And after that, like doing the medicine, that was really powerful. And after doing the medicine, we read their Mayan kins, and that was really insightful. And I think the participants were quite shocked to see everything they saw, because excuse me, because everything they saw in their visions during the ceremony was everything that they read about afterwards in their Mayankin. So I think that was really insightful, and we did it on purpose, because sometimes people would think that you are like preparing them mentally to believe a certain kind of thing, when we were actually trying for them to see what they had to see, and then try to match that with their Mayan kin to see if it was real or not for them, and it was. So yeah, and they were quite shocked afterwards. I think that really helped them in their life, all of them. And I love that part. I love that part of like not trying to interfere with their process, and then just showing them afterwards, like, this is who you are supposed to be according to the Mayans. Do you agree with this? And they were like, "Oh my god! Like, this is me. This is everything I saw in my visions. It's about this." So yeah, that was a highlight for me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You worked really hard to get those Mayan kids together. Um, yeah, and it was because even I read mine before, and I was like, "Oh, no," like, it's as accurate as many things I have read, I was kinda, like, on the fence about it, and then after the week, I was like, "Oh, oh, dear do show up for me in this way. Oh, the way I'm supposed to relate to my physical body," because speaking for myself, the, this time when I took the medicine, it was mostly physical sensation. There were very few, visions. There were a
Mhm,
few, but, um and so the fact that my Mayan kin was about, like, you're supposed to be really focused on attuning your physicality, because like, spirit, you're more attuned to naturally, but you this is the challenge. Um, and I never would have known without the Mayan kin that, like, that really was the link with the way the medicine hit me this time.
yeah, and the way I see it is like the medicine makes you open up, and then once you open up like a fountain, like, it's really easy to see, like, oh yeah, this is me, I get it. Because otherwise, like, we have these blockages, and then we think like, oh no, this is not me, this is not about me, because we are seeing things from a perspective where uh we try to see everything from the perspective that our family gave to us, the society gave to us, our work colleagues gave to us about us ourselves, and we don't really feel what we are. And
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest problems nowadays, I think. Like, we try to see or perceive ourselves from the exterior, but then we don't make any inner work to actually see if this is who we are.
yeah, that's a good point. Making those connections, okay. I I also wanna say some of the connections that we chose to prepare people for before the medicine had a similar effect. So, the ice bath and the Temazcal.
Mhm,
So, with the ice bath, I I had a condition in which it wasn't appropriate for me to participate on that day.
mhm,
But being in the camaraderie of everyone doing it, because they got to, like, choose their power song, they're supported by the group, uh, but I think what sentiment I heard the most about it was that it was They did something they didn't know they could do. They went inside to a deeper place that they didn't know they could find and rest in, which I think is super important for the way to go inside when you do the medicine.
Yeah. And actually, I think the Temazcal and the ice bath, they look like opposites, but they are like it's the same exercise. It's like controlling your mind under a lot of physical stress. So yeah, it's one is with cold and the other one is with heat, but it's basically the same. And I did find it to be really insightful for them. Like I think they some of them they didn't know they could be that strong because when they saw the like the ice bath in front of themselves, like they thought like, oh my god, I'm not gonna do that, you know. But they did, and they did it great. They did it great. All of them, they did it great. So
You did it so great.
yeah, and I'm proud of all of them. Like if one of them is hearing this, I'm really proud of each one of them, and I'm not gonna mention any names for the privacy of the patients, but yeah, it was great. And then the Temazcal made complete sense, and the day after because they saw how everything was, and they were prepared for that, and nobody even complained about that. And yeah, it was amazing.
No, no, I was the only one with some residual fear because I hadn't gotten in the ice bath. So after the first door for the Temazcal, I was like, I'm worried about how my body's gonna handle this. Let me get some fresh air now. But I didn't really need it. But I was in an old story of like, let me try to make this easier for myself. Um, yeah. And then, but once I got through that and everybody was like, are you okay? And we sang and we celebrated and it was really beautiful. I got to hear people's voices who I know don't normally like to sing.
Yeah,
Um,
including yourself.
yeah, I'd, I've been known to share a tune. But yes, usually in ceremonial or
In
like
that
religious.
context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that context, I do it. At home, I sing to myself. I'm not just out here singing for clients. So you're right. No one had heard me sing before in that space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was
It was,
beautiful. You should do it more often.
thank you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna learn learn some more songs specifically in this genre and in
Uh-huh.
Spanish, um, to support in a different way the next. Um, yeah, and I will mention this once again, no names, but there was someone in the Temazcal who there's a part where you call on people's names, like you're like, I'm offering energy out for healing, for someone who may not be here. And one of this person's powers is that they can energetically like bring people with them.
Mhm.
And so they attempted to bring a loved one into the space and then they got kind of stuck because spirit told them in the middle of it, they're not supposed to be here yet. Um and so there was a moment where I had to like pause the shaman. And I was like, wait, we need to collectively hold this because right now it's too heavy on this one person. Um and it all worked out. All worked
Yeah,
out.
it
But
did.
yeah, I think that was kind of part of the beginning of folks' powers showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And then also learning what to do with them all at the same time.
Yeah. It did work. Yeah. Yeah, it was right.
Yeah, it was great. Okay. So the Temescal was hot, but not as hot as it could have been. And we had a great time. Because yeah. And then it was time for Bufo and other medicine.
Oh, yeah. That was intense, pretty intense.
Yeah. Go
Uh
ahead. Tell us.
well, there was one of the patients that was really skeptical about all of this, and
Hmm.
that was the first patient we had, and it was like a personal victory, like seeing how he connected so well with himself, and then like he was like saying thank you, thank you, thank you, like 10,000 times, thank you, like he was so blissful, and it was a really beautiful connection, and I don't know if that was what he was expecting, but it was beautiful, and I think it was really well. The medicine always gives you what you need in that moment, so there's not like a one size fits all in this.
Hmm.
I think every single experience is different, and some people have visions, some don't. Some people feel things, some people realize things. It works in very different ways, but in that particular ceremony, it was about inner love and respect, and it was beautiful just to watch. That was somehow easy in a way because it was just like pure love and bliss.
Mm.
But the one after that, and that then I can mention names because it's a facilitator that works with us. Oh my god, man! Like that was so intense. Like the facilitator that works with us, Shamika. Well, for me, I'm not saying I have the ultimate truth or anything, but like for me, she's like an oracle, and she indeed has some powers for that, to channelize things. And
Mhm.
then like she connected herself in such a powerful way, and then she came back from the other realm to tell us personal things to each one of us. And like she looked at us in the eye and told us like very personal things. For me it was heavy, like well I'm the facilitator here also, so like I don't have a problem sharing, but she
Okay.
said like well you know Alma, she's my partner, and then like she lives with me now. And then Shamika just looked at me in the eye and she said like, I just see an umbilical cord, and then she faded. And I was like, wait, what? Like that was intense. And they're like, oh wait, but before that she said, and that's the whole reason I'm going to Gabon, because she said like, you
Mm.
are afraid of yourself. And I was like, wait, what?
Mm.
Like what do you mean? Like, and but it made complete sense right after that for me.
Mm.
I'm gonna share my experience without like mentioning anybody else.
Yeah.
So the thing is like once her ceremony was done, when we were at the mushroom park,
Mhm.
I felt a little bit how to say, overwhelmed because of what
Mhm.
she told me. And
Okay.
then like I was thinking all the time, like, why am I afraid of myself? Right. So I went outside, and well, they have a huge garden, beautiful garden where we were in Jolitia. And I just stood there in the dark. And and this is funny because I rarely have any visions. Like I feel things. I would say that my shamanic power would be to feel what people are feeling,
Mm.
rather than just like having visions and like getting visions in the way that Shamika did. I don't have that particular power. Everybody's different, right? And everybody channelizes these things in a different way. But for me, it is feeling what other people feel, and that I think that's what helps me in the ceremonies. But in
Mhm.
this particular time, like I went and I stood in the dark. And I started seeing like some dark and purplish patterns,
Mm.
and it felt somehow like African stuff, like some kind of African patterns, but in a dark way. And then like I started seeing a huge black man with dreadlocks. I don't know how tall he was, but he was way taller than me, and he was somehow like dancing with his dreadlocks. He was just doing like this, and I was
Oh.
like, "Wait, what?" Like, and I saw him like in the same space as my body was, like in my energetic body. So
Mhm.
if I was him for a moment, and that made me scared. And I said like,
Mm.
whoa, 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 wait, what is this? Like, I never felt that kind of power or like connection. And when I say dark, it doesn't mean evil. Like, I'm not
Right.
saying that from a perspective of like good and evil. Like, for me, light and darkness are part of the same thing. In my personal view, everything is contained inside of God. So nothing can exist outside of God. For me, everything is just one, and light and darkness are one. So I'm not saying that from that perspective, but like, I guess what Shamika was trying to tell me is you are afraid of your own darkness.
Mm, mhm,
And I felt that. Like I felt some dark powers and I saw that black man with dreadlocks doing like this and I see as if we were one and that made me really scared and like I said like whoa 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 please don't show me this like not now like I will go towards it I will learn about this but please don't do it now because like I think you can talk to the spirit and say like if you feel overwhelmed just like talk normally as if you would talk to God or Jesus or whoever you believe in and just say I just said like please don't show me this right now like I will go towards it but later at my own pace because this is too much.
mm.
I cannot like take care of the patients and handle this at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wanna point out, so okay, multiple things at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna come back to my reflection of what you said,
Mhm.
but I'm realizing I want the audience to know it takes a lot to overwhelm Ben. It's not like this is like, "Oh, this is my first vision," or like, you've seen many things, you've embodied many things. I've seen those things in you, uh, and so for you to be overwhelmed, it means it was a much bigger,
Like a higher power.
yeah, like a higher power, whereas powers that you have accessed in the past or still access are, like, not, you're used to them maybe at this point, but
Mhm.
but that might be something that would overwhelm someone else if they saw that the first time, so this is just, like, another level up or multiple levels up
Yeah, multiple.
of yeah, of the intensity, um, but yeah, it's okay. Because I remember having conversations with you about it while we were facilitating that night, and
Mhm.
you were like, "Well, this thing, like, Shamika activated something, like, I don't know, but we'll come back to it." Yeah, and you didn't give me freaked out energy because you had to ground me, which I'll get to later. But, yeah, it sounds like you're supposed to go to the mother continent and do some more work. Um
Yeah.
I will gladly go with you. I'm saying this very publicly. I am not saying that I will also do ebook. It could happen, but that's not what I'm called towards at this moment, the way that you are.
Yeah, I feel compelled right now.
You're compelled. We'll get into it. We'll go this year. Um, wow. Has anything else come up, like, with, I guess, that entity? Um, or do they still feel present?
Yeah, sometimes like just like the day after and some days later, like I was like dancing in the shower, like okay, so I'm really connected to water in a really powerful way. So I would say
Mm,
most of my spiritual connections are always connected with water. Either I'm swimming at a river, I'm in the shower, like well, the way I see it is like water is how do I put it? I think it expands the spiritual energy
mhm,
in a way.
mhm.
So I think it's like a conduct, water.
Yes.
So I was like kind of like dancing in the shower doing like this and I felt like him again, you
Mhm.
know, and that was scary. Like it's scary. Like and you know like this is like precisely the border like some people say like, oh no you went crazy like you lost it because you were doing these things but like no I think there's a really thin line between the physical and the metaphysical world
Mhm.
and there's also a really thin line between like I am seeing things that are actually real but they are not in the human realm and I am crazy and yeah so like it it takes a lot of training to see that to actually know the difference like okay this is normal this is not normal but like for me seeing all the things that I've seen in past ceremonies and also in India we can go about that in another chapter
Mm.
but yeah like I saw a lot of like really woo woo stuff like for real
Yeah.
so yeah I don't think it's like oh I lost it I need some like psychiatrist like I know I'm fine I'm just saying there is like there are other entities that we are not so aware of, but they are there. And in some cultures, they are more connected to that more than us in the West, but they are definitely there. And there are definitely things that we cannot explain. Um, I mean, if it was not the case, how would you explain like all these horror movies, all these American horror movies where there's like some kind of entity and like it's real? Like I'm not saying all of those cases are real, but some of them are. And like and some of them when I'm watching these movies I say like, oh no, that's a mistake. Like if you feel that thing, an eerie sensation in one place, just go away. Like why would you stay just to see how it is? Like it makes no sense to me, right? But since like they don't believe in this stuff, like they're like all the movies is like they try to convince themselves like this is not real, this is not real, but it's real, and then
Mhm.
they get in trouble, right? And some of them they say or they claim to be like based on a true story. They might, but like it almost always starts with a girl because women are more connected to the spiritual world, and
Mhm.
it's a no-brainer. Like just look at any yoga class or any spiritual practice is like 8 out of 10 people are women, almost
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
So they are more connected to that realm, and it's a girl because like they like children they don't have like this border, this is real, this is not real.
Mhm.
And normally it's a girl with powers, and then like she would say like, oh, I'm seeing stuff, oh no, you're crazy, and then like they would take her to a psychiatrist, and then they would give her some really strong medicine, and then they would even give her electroshock to see if that cures her, and like that's making everything worse, right?
Yeah.
Because like if there's a bad entity, and this is like a general thing, if there's a bad entity and your energetic immune system is low, then you are more prone to have like that entity with you. So when you're having really high positive feelings like happiness and love and all these things, these
Mhm.
entities will not even be attracted to you because you're strong. But whenever you feel really weak energetically, like in fear, in pain, and all of these things, then you're prone to that, right? So like all of that to say, these things are real, and some people might be watching this, say like, oh, then this is real, but somebody I'm sure they experienced something at some point. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're not crazy. I'm just trying to say that you're not crazy. It's fine. Just be careful and just like keep your vibration really high. Think positive things, and you'll be fine. And if
Yeah.
you feel some eerie stuff, just go away. Don't stay
Yeah.
like saying, "No, this is not real. This is not real." Like I don't see any purpose in that. Like just go away and go to a place where you feel fine.
Yes. I You're reminding me, I have several private clients who have experienced these types of things. A lot of them, all of them, started experiencing it as children.
Sure.
Um, yeah, and as, girls or, like, non-binary, but not saying that yet, female assigned at birth, we'll put it that way.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yes, it tracks. And I also just remembered my first encounter with believing that this is real. I mean, I have my family stories and stuff, but I mean professionally. I was doing a rotation in homeopathy, um, and one of the clients was a Catholic clergy member, um, who was on the national team for exorcisms.
Mhm.
And I was like, "That exists?" I thought y'all just told those stories to scare people. I didn't know you would need to actually develop the team and pay people to go around the country and, like, see which things are real, see which aren't, pray it away, do the ritual, because there's a lot of ritual in the Catholic faith
Oh yeah.
that comes from paganism, if I'm being honest, but anyway, they pull from different places. And so he explained all of it. He was like, "There's psychologists on the team, and there's a bunch of verified cases where the people, uh, need spiritual work and not mental work. Um, Sometimes both because the spiritual stuff
Yep.
was so scary, right?" And I was like, "Oh, there's there's other people who believe this is real."
Okay.
So that kind of, I guess, opened my eyes towards it, and I have a lot more respect for it these days. Um, but yes, okay. And then going back to what to do, I just feel like I should say this disclaimer.
Yeah.
you if you're in ceremony and you're seeing something difficult, um, then coming from a place of love and, like, resetting that, like, um, the same way that Ben was like, Imma come back to you later," and he was visited again, and it was scary, but not as scary, but it's like, it's reminding him that he should do this sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Um, but there's ways to approach it. So there's never a point where you need to be completely out of and, like, alone with it and facing the darkness. I don't have a better word for that, facing the worst, or what you perceive as evil by yourself, because
Mhm.
it's not equal, and it's also you're not alone. So that's a big part of how that works, which I will tie into my experience. So we did 2 different types of mushrooms.
Yep.
So the first one, I was having visions, um, but it was all, like, fractals and, like, pretty colors and,
Mhm.
it's fun. And then I went out to go to the restroom, and I looked in the mirror, which pro tip, if you're new to this, don't look in the mirror, okay? Mirrors are not necessarily your friend when you're on, psychedelics. But so I was like, "Imma do it," and I look, and it's me, but half of my face is an old woman, it's older me.
Oh.
There's less collagen. And honestly, she was still cute, but she was like 70. Um, and she was really sad. And so I ended up having a conversation with her. Um, and then I came back in and, I'm monitoring people and making sure things are good. Or moving along. Good too, but moving along.
Mhm.
Um, And then we took the second mushrooms, and I start having all of the body sensations. There's just a lot of, like, I need to move, like, a lot of cold chills, like, a lot of, like, tremor.
Mhm.
And I could have controlled it if I wanted to, but I was like, "No, I'm just gonna let it shape." Um, and at some point, I step out again, and I come back, and, like, I'm walking like a drunk person. Like, I don't really know what it looked like to everybody else, but the shamans are looking at me like, "Estás bien?" And I was like, "I'm fine." And I'm, like, swaying. And Ben came over to me and was like, "Dr. K, ground." And I was like, "I'm fine. I'm just in the experience." He was like, because you knew it was gonna turn on me. You could sense it.
Mhm.
At least that's my experience of I don't think we've talked about this yet. But so there was that. And then you had me breathe and you were like, "We have to count to 10 breaths, and then I'll let you go." And in the middle of it, I just kept going off on tangents. And I was talking, he was like, "Remember, we were gonna do 10 breaths?" I said, "Oh, I agreed to that? Oh, okay." But honestly, after we got to the 10, I really was fine, and I could walk, and I was, back to facilitation mode. But, like, that type of support, I think there were all types of other support that was going on in the room, which we'll get to. But for me, that showed me, like, oh, it can be so simple the way that you're with someone, and it's just being noticed and acknowledged and, like, held in the space. Because there's this balance between you knew I could handle whatever was gonna come up for me, and also there's a way to do that that's a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a lot. But do you remember that moment?
Yeah, of course.
Did I look well, I guess it doesn't matter how I looked, I'm fine. But, yeah. Why did you come over?
Uh, like, when you've been in, like, several ceremonies, like, you can see when people are seeing stuff and when it's becoming too much. Because, like, I've been in that point myself where, like, oh, I'm seeing a lot of stuff. Oh, like, what is this? And then I start tripping, like, yeah, I've been in that point many times. So, like, I recognize that moment and I approach you and I say, like, and why, like, they, like, doing some breath exercises because, like, you need to oxygenate. That's, like, the medical part of it. But also,
Mhm,
like, when you're breathing, that's grounding for your mind also. And that comes from yoga, right? So,
mhm.
when you are overwhelmed in any way, like you start like breathing faster and faster, and you're like when you're scared or like you're really stressed, like you start doing like this. So the best thing to do in that moment is just come back to yourself, breathe deeply, and then your mind will stabilize. That's why I did that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it works. Um, there was one of the participants, uh, was having the best time. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best. It was a lot of just like, "Oh, yo soy amor." Oh, like but then there were moments where he would psych himself out and get in his head for a second and then be like, "Am I doing this right? Because this is a good time. It's never been this great before." Because he had experience with mushrooms. And then his breathing would change and everything wouldn't be as pleasant. And we had to like, "Are you breathing?" And then
Mhm.
and he could reset himself pretty easily. But you did an entire yoga flow for one of the other clients because
Yeah.
yeah, she needed a break from the visions and movement was what she asked for, so they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. We had small yoga class during the ceremony.
Yeah.
But she needed that. Like she needed to connect to her body because like she was so much in her mind that like it was overwhelming for her. And like, it's fine that you're seeing stuff and you're learning stuff, but you have to remember I'm a human and I'm supposed to be here as well, and I have to ground in this body as well. So like, we stood up and we started doing yoga, and that grounded her a lot. Definitely.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Very, very cool stuff. Um,
Ah, well, coming back to the original point that we were making about the huge black man with dreadlocks. Yeah, I did see him couple times after, but it is
mhm,
not like a scary presence at all. Like, on the other hand, I feel protected. Like, I don't feel it's a scary thing. I feel protected. I know that I'm dealing with something I don't completely understand, but I know when I go to Gabon, and I'm saying Gabon because like, I not only because Iboga is from there, but something else happened afterwards, after the retreat even. So I had this patient while I was volunteering in Jolitia, the space where we hosted the retreat.
mhm,
So he did Iboga at different stages,
mhm,
and he's from Vancouver. Not names, no names again, but like
mhm,
he's from Vancouver. And then like, he knows a really well known person in Vancouver that he is like the Boga guy in that part of Canada. He's the
mm,
guy. So like, for whatever reason, I'm a software engineer, and he told me like, hey Ben, like, he's having a problem with his website, can you give him a hand? But it was all a misunderstanding. But anyway, I don't believe in
mhm,
coincidences, and he did ask me, have you done Iboga before? And I said like, no, I'm trying to go to Gabon to do that. And like, long story short, he gave me a lot of advice, and then he connected me to a actual person in Gabon to go there with that particular person. So like, I believe that when the whole universe is aligning in that way, it's not a coincidence, and that's what you have to do. So like, yeah, I know I'm being called to that place, and in my mind, I think Shamika open up something. I believe, that's my personal belief. I'm not saying this is the ultimate truth, but my personal belief is that she had like a really beautiful connection that was also life changing for her. So in my mind, it
mhm.
is as if her ancestors were telling me, "Okay, you helped my child. Now we will help you. You come and meet me." That's how I feel.
Wow.
Yeah,
But yeah. Yes. Um, yeah, I'm really excited for what comes with you accepting the call, you know? A lot of times people are like, "Yeah, it's because I did the medicine," but it always starts working the moment you say yes to it.
yeah,
I think I noticed that in facilitating clients before they even came to Mexico. Like, as soon as they were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm putting down an deposit," and then, like, their lives started shifting. My own life started shifting.
yeah,
So I sense the same is happening, even if it takes a few months for you to get there, like, all of it matters.
yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah, and I'm remembering I mean, Shamika also had a message for me, uh, which was because I've told people about, she told me to feel. She like
Mhm.
really wanted me to feel. Like she like she like invited me into it. It was like, feel things. Ah, I'm gonna rock you like a baby. Um, it literally happened, which was
Yeah.
stunning, honestly. Like it, like stunning in like shock, but also stunning in like beauty. Um, and I'm sure it was also cool. It was cool to be in it, and it was probably very cool to witness. Um, but there was something else she said to me, which was like, you deserve to be loved. And that has been echoed back to me a lot of times since. It's a really grounding thing for me when I'm like, because I can tend towards anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Anxiety is fear based. The opposite of fear is love. And then it's like, oh, where am I deciding this from? Am I being fearful? Choose love. And then everything goes a lot smoother. Um, that was, yeah, that's the
Life changing.
vague, life changing, life changing. Um, and if anyone wants to comment because you want Shamika's information, she's doing readings. So I will gladly send you her info.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben also does Mayan Ken readings. So if you want those. Yeah. Okay. So lots of life changing. I'm trying to think. I think, can you remember any themes that came up for the group?
Oh, Kailash, the mountain. Remember? Like that came back like 5 times. Like so like some context.
Mhm.
Couple years back, I was trying to go to Mount Kailash, which is like it's China basically.
Mhm.
It's the southernmost part of Tibet, and it's geographically is China. And I was trying to get there during COVID, but China had their borders closed. And I tried to cross by all means. I went to Nepal and I went to northern India, and I tried to cross it in all possible ways until an Indian soldier sent me back home, and he said like, this is really dangerous. Like people are like firing shots there. Like you shouldn't go there. It's really
Mhm.
dangerous. So like go back. It's
Mhm.
gonna get worse and worse from here. So I couldn't make it back then. But I did have a lot of visions about that place. Like when I was in Varanasi in India, like which is the holy city in India, like I had a vivid dream telling me like you should go there for this and that reason, and that always stuck with me, right? So like I mentioned that during the ceremony, and one of the patients like saw it for real, right? So like and she said like I was there and I saw everything as you mentioned, and it's not that I saw it, but I read the book, like the holy Indian scriptures. So I
Mhm.
did I did describe that during one of the sessions, during Shamika's session. And like the patient went there, and like she said, I felt a lot of things and they taught me a lot of things. That place is real. And it's kind of funny, because like people are always looking for these like ancient kingdoms that are lost and like kind of Indiana Jones stuff. But in reality, those realms are mental. And that's the conclusion that I got to. Like it's
Mhm.
not that a place that you can go physically just walking. You have to go
Mhm.
in your mind, which is way harder. And not everybody can access that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like it all came back to just like do your meditation, connect with yourself, and you will be taken to the places that you are supposed to go to, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
And sometimes like I would like to have like a concrete answer, like, oh, just do this and this is the answer, but it's not like that. Like always for every single patient is the same. Like you have to connect with yourself, look inward, and then like see what you have inside yourself, and that will give you all the answers. And like I think all the sessions and everything we did was pointing that direction. And I think that the aftermath was pretty positive. I think like it was a life-changing retreat for the patients and for ourselves in the same scale, I would say. So
Yes. Yes. I
yeah.
had forgotten about it. I had also pulled a card in a oracle deck that mentions that place. Because it's like, this is a realm the ancients would go to in their mind. It wasn't specifically referencing China, but it was and yeah, and I pulled it right before the retreat because I was like, what's gonna come up? Because I was like curious.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was another connection to that. Um,
I
I
didn't
think,
know that.
yeah, water was a big theme. Um, because we had a couple of water signs present. So there was a lot of going with the flow, which is not like there's like no water in my chart. So
Hmm.
anytime somebody go with the flow, I'm like, but then one of my favorite songs is Fluyeto, um, from the shamanic playlists. And then like
Hmm.
Mika had a different client who does ayahuasca ceremonies, and they were playing that playlist, and then she found that song and played it back. And I was like, "There's a song I couldn't remember." And then I played it, and then another one of our clients was in the group chat was like, "I was looking for this song." Like there was just like a lot of um surprising connections. Like now everyone I know has done medicine or is interested in this, or like that keeps coming in. I have I'd say self-love was a huge theme. Um,
Hmm.
being able to see people integrate that into their lives and make more decisive choices from that place has been really, really cool. I think that's what we're hinting at when we say life-changing, because we're trying to like
Yeah.
not give it because confidentiality. But there's a lot of like self-acceptance themes and choosing from a rooted place and reconnecting families type stuff
Hmm.
going on. Um, and then, uh, yeah, there was also the theme of the fives.
Oh,
So, all right,
a big one.
uh, Ben was born on the 5th. Someone else was born on the 5th who is at the retreat. And for everyone else there, it was easy for us to see how they were perfect mirrors, but like doing things in the opposite way. So
Hmm.
what one would be good at, the other would struggle in or find a challenge and vice versa. Um, and a lot of that is the self-confidence, self-love, choosing from a certain place. Um, but also ego versus humility. So that was an interesting lesson for everyone who got to witness it.
Hmm.
And I imagine living on one side of those coins was also like a lot, but y'all got through it.
Yeah. No, it was insightful for both of us, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I think like well, I learned a lot from that person. Like about humility especially. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I learned a lot. Also because I think the there's been two other men that
Hmm.
kind of popped into my life last year who also have that same number very strongly.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh." And all of you have told me exactly the same thing about myself. It's always, "You're powerful. Why aren't you stepping into it?" Like, "You're deferring to me when maybe you shouldn't." And I'm like, "Well, because you have such strong energy and you're confident and you're blah, blah, blah." And then it's like, "Yeah, but you have more than me." Like, that's the way it's been framed by like all of you. And I've tried to ignore it. And then when I put all of that together, I realized, oh, I'm not gonna get rid of these fives until I have my lesson.
Yeah. Once you learn it, like I don't think we'll be gone, but like I'm sure like it will not be as present.
Yeah, it'll be a more seamless interactions, I think. Um, yeah, but I appreciate the lessons. I'm grateful. 'Cause what? Okay. Uh, what did we miss? Anything else?
Uh, woof. I think like one of the key moments was always reminding them. Like I had a personal session with each and every one of them before the ceremony,
Mhm.
and they had different subjects to deal with. But the main thing that I told them is just go back to your question during the ceremony because it's really easy to get astray and start like getting lost in the colors. And this is beautiful, or this is ugly, or I like this, or I don't like this. But we were working on a particular question, like for the whole retreat,
Mhm. Mhm.
And we did made the exercise of think about the question, like we did the exercise before, and while we were during while we were in the ceremony, I brought them back to that question. When I saw them lost, or like they were going astray, remember the question. Oh yes, yeah, the question. They just closed their eyes, the question, you're right. And then like they all solved their question.
They
So
did.
I think that it's really, really insightful. And if anybody is coming to, well, I'm sure some people will, but if someone is coming to the retreat in April, which we'll be
Mm.
hosting,
Mhm.
I would like them to start working on that question from now.
Yeah.
Be-
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes some
So
time.
yeah, not 10,000 questions, only one question, and that's a hard thing already. Like just like summarizing all your life and what is the most urgent thing that I'm that I have to deal with right now.
Mhm.
And we will go back to that question over and over and we will solve that. Yeah, this is my goal for the next retreat, like solving everybody's question. Well, they will
Oh,
solve it themselves, but I will just be next to them, right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's also support. So before the retreat, um, I provide worksheets. I do sessions with people before they come. Um, I'm kind of on call. On call is a stretch because
Yeah.
time's a little limited. But to support in the question writing, and and there's packing lists, and there's all sorts of support in getting you there. If you feel called to it. That's how that works. If you don't feel called to it, then I'm not convincing anybody.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. But yeah, the question, because different people come at it from different lenses, and I think because I'm a therapist, I can be like, oh, this is the way you get caught up
Yeah.
on finding a question, and you're trying to have the perfect right one, but you didn't go with what was the first hit intuitively, and that would have been your answer. Whereas someone else um may be a last minute type. And a last minute type person will be like, yeah, I'll just whatever my question is on the day we start the ceremony, And then I have to support to be like, that's a little too loose. Like let's um so there's a range, but yes, we're gonna solve everyone's question. They'll solve it. We'll support them in solving it, which I think our strengths came out a lot in this retreat
Oh
because, of
yeah.
course, we hosted things separately. This was our first time really doing it together.
Mhm.
And your strength is in shamanic ceremony, um, because of your intuition of feeling what others feel and then like catching them before it shifts too much in an awkward way,
Mhm.
supporting them to go deeper in these ways. I think in that space, my strength is the physical a bit more. Like, because people are gonna be snotting and crying, somebody's gonna be shaking, somebody's gonna somebody's gonna want, I don't know, a softer, calmer presence to share what's going on with them. And because a lot of these people knew me already, like I was a listening ear and then I could like prep them to go back in. Um, so those sorts of things. Uh, but yeah, Ben totally turns it on when the medicine starts.
Yeah. Well, I'm really expecting the next one. Like I know it will be a great one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm also kind of like, my life already just changed in December. Do I need it to change again in April?
Oh, this is ongoing. Like you're in the making, and so am I. So yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But that's the work. That's what we choose to do in service of others. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let us get back to integrating. Because now
Yeah.
that I brought everything back up, I'm like, wait, I need to go journal. I need to go. I'm gonna need a minute.
I'm gonna
Um,
meditate after this.
yeah, yeah. I was like, "Ooh, you might need to go talk to some deities with some locks."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I've also never said this, but I feel compelled in the moment. I I am often courted, as the way I wanna put it, by deities when I have bufo.
Mhm,
So, it's like I know they're nearby. Like,
mhm.
I'll be in a vision, and it's, like, a really bright light, and it's, like, here, and then I'm like, what do you want? What do you want?" Which I guess is I don't know, does that make me more light being than dark? I don't know, whatever. But
We're both.
and then yeah, they don't show all the way up because they know I'm not fully ready. Because my invitation to them can be a little hesitant. But I know
Mm.
they're there. They're right there every time. And then I'll just be like, what do you want?" Um, yeah. So I already know that next time all of that opens up, it's already started opening up. Um, hmm, I'm pulling cards. We got 2. Hmm, Judgment, which I will insert to make it look better. Um, this is when you've made a decision and there's awakening. Like she's literally being transported up into her higher self. Oh, that was another huge thing. I feel like most people met their higher selves.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so even if they had an ideology of like um atheism or not believing in a spiritual realm or afterlife or it was still like, oh, I met the form of me that loves, you know? Um, and I'm glad I granted that to myself. And then some other people had some like, let me, me and my higher self were hanging out, doing the work. uh, it's hard to not say what really happened, but a lot with the higher selves. And then there's King of Cups. King of Cups is emotion. Water was a huge theme. I already just told y'all that. This is the water element. Ben gets his spiritual downloads through water. I wouldn't be surprised if I do. And because I never do water, I just, that connection's a little frayed. Um, but what I'm getting from this is it's the highest level of connection with emotion and water and spirit. It's like the crown chakra connection. For those who don't know,
Well,
that's the one up here. That's the straight. Um, so yeah, a lot of portaling to another realm is what we got going on.
not surprised.
So yeah, good luck in that meditation. Not at all surprised. Not at all. Yeah, your meditation's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna spray the meditation that I made, and I'm gonna go meditate too.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
having me, Dr.
As
K.
always, you are more than welcome. Thank you for sharing this with me and doing this work with me. And I will talk to you soon. And obviously I'll see you in April.
Yeah. I'll see you in April.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.